Whether it's chronic fatigue, illness, grief, there's so many different things that can make you feel a little overwhelmed as you head into the new year. First thing that we need to do, guys, is to recognize where our stress or pressure is coming from. Is it coming from outside sources? Is it coming from within? The majority of the overwhelm or stress that I feel actually comes from myself, because as a wife and a mother, I really want to make my home and my environment for my kids the best that it can be. We all have dreams and goals, and it can be very disappointing when you aren't able to achieve them, and I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate. So I think we need to take a step back and assess whether the pressure we're putting on ourselves is beneficial for us or healthy for us, or if it's actually hurting us. Take into account who or what we're allowing to put pressure on us and whether or not that's healthy. Remember that we are human and we need to give ourselves grace. The next thing that I try to remind myself is that progress looks different for everyone. No one else in this world is walking in your shoes. And it can be very cliche to say that. Think about it. No one has ever had the same exact experience as you. No one's ever lived your life. No one's ever gone through the very same trials that you have gone through. Everyone starts this life at a different point, and so there's no profit in looking at someone else and saying, if I was better at this, I could be this. Or the only person that you should be comparing yourself to is yourself and the growth that you want to achieve. By focusing on yourself, you're able to get farther without distractions. It gives you a more realistic understanding of your growth levels. That looks different for everyone. We should all be focusing on becoming a better version of ourselves. For me, this last year, that looked like letting go of my all or nothing mindset. Sometimes progress just looks like making steps to reach that goal, not actually achieving that goal as a whole. That all or nothing mindset really held me back. There would be times where I'm like, I can't get all the laundry done, so what's the point of even doing anything? Eventually, everything just piled up. Instead of making a little progress and shifting my mindset to, if I get a little bit done today, I won't have as much to do tomorrow and I can be done sooner. Still working on that, but I definitely feel like I've given myself grace to be able to learn and to grow in that area. I really feel like anyone can profit from doing a little bit more of progress over perfection. Adjusting when your body doesn't cooperate. Now, for some of us, there is another layer to this, and that is that our bodies don't always do what we want them to do. It can be very frustrating when in your mind you're like, I want to do this, I want to get that done. And even simple things, we may have chronic fatigue. Some of us are dealing with grief or, mental illness. We all have our different things that we go through, and sometimes our bodies do not align with what we want to do in the physical. I think it's important when that point comes, first of all, to give ourselves grace. This is something I have struggled with, but I've learned that if I give myself grace, it really does benefit me more than beating myself up or trying to push myself and then burning out or just being out of commission for a couple of days versus taking the night to rest and starting fresh in the morning. Our body has limits, and sometimes those limits change, and that can make it very frustrating when you want to plan, when you want to get things done. When you're a dreamer, we have to be honest with ourselves and where we are in real life if we want to be able to move forward. Okay, so how do we move forward? We control what we can. We have to start focusing, guys, on what we can control and not on what we can't control. Example of this for me as someone who has been dealing with chronic fatigue is that there are some days when I wake up and I feel like I can take on the world. I'm like, oh my goodness, we are spring cleaning, we're gonna do house projects, I'm gonna bake cookies, we're making bread from scratch, we're doing everything. And then there are days when I wake up and I'm like, I don't even want to get out of bed. I don't want to drink water. I don't want to clean my room. I want to do those things, but my body tells me no. You control what you can control. Can I get up and drink water? Yes. Can I take my vitamins? Yes. Can I try to eat a nutritious meal? Yes. Can I get my entire house cleaned? No. Well, what can you do to progress, guys? So maybe that looks like taking your big goals and breaking them down small actionable steps. This next one is something that I don't personally deal with all the time, but when you are feeling low, it can definitely sneak in. So you have to keep yourself aware and conscious. There is pressure to fit the mold or the ideal of life, keeping up with the Joneses. I personally want to do so much for my family and for my kids. And it's less of like, I want to be like them because I want to be like them. And more so, those are also things that I want to achieve in my life and I want for my family. If you're not careful, it can overcome you and fill you with discontentment. Things are not always butterflies and rainbows. We all have our struggles that we have to deal with. Maybe the bar that you see set isn't as high as you think it is. Not to say that we shouldn't be encouraging people or even each other to grow and achieve, but just remember there is a highlight reel and then there is reality. So don't try so hard to push yourself into that highlight reel. Make it true to yourself. If you're gonna achieve things, if you're gonna have goals, if you're gonna have dreams, make sure they are yours. Guys, it's important to find your own rhythm. This last year for me has been that. It started off as something very unconscious for me, but coming into the end of this year, going into the new year, I've been becoming conscious of my patterns, whether that's an emotional pattern, a physical pattern. For women, maybe that's the patterns in your cycle and not just during 1 week but the whole month. So I'm going to be journaling my patterns. I'm going to try to keep account. And the good thing about that, if you know what your body does when you are feeling sick, or you know what your body does at your time of the month or during your cycle, or you know what your body does when you're feeling well, that way you can take advantage of the times that you're feeling good because you know it's coming. It's something you can plan for. The week after my cycle, I'm not going to be feeling well, then that's not the week that you want to plan 50 things with friends and you want to volunteer. You have to be realistic with yourself. That may not be the week that you want to cook everything from scratch. Maybe you save up for that week to have it eat out, or maybe you meal prep the weeks that you're feeling good for that week that you know you're not going to be feeling well. Strategy is a great way to help yourself know that you can feel yourself starting to go into a burnout. You can plan for what you're going to need. You know what to expect, and you can better take care of yourself and your health all around. Setting realistic expectations and adjusting. Tomorrow we're going to do the bathrooms, do the laundry, and do the dishes. You may wake up and not feel well, and you have to say, this is still progress if I get the bathroom and the dishes done and I don't do the laundry. That's still progress. We're still moving forward in our goals, and you have to think of that as a positive thing. Readjusting is not a negative thing, it is a positive thing, pushing you forward to what you want to achieve. And a reminder, if you're watching this video, it means that you care. You're taking the time to think, to grow, to learn, and that is such a beautiful thing. And that already shows that there is hope in the new year for you to achieve great things in your life, to move forward. This last year has definitely been a time of having to learn to trust God. By doing so, we actually grow stronger. It can be very painful, but we can grow stronger, guys. We can have hope and joy and a future that is exciting even in a time of struggle. I want to read you guys a verse. 2 Corinthians 12 verse 9. And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Christ may rest upon me. Even when we're weak, God can use our weaknesses and make us strong. He can show up for us. Pray that that verse is encouraging to you guys, sharing as a reminder to myself to, seek comfort in God, seek strength in God, and I'm excited to spend lots of exciting videos with you guys. This was actually not one of my planned videos, but I really felt it as this last week myself, I have been struggling, and I just felt like someone else out there is over here like, I want to plan for the new year, I want to be excited, but there is a part of this that is my reality, and I pray blessings and favor upon you. I pray that God would just walk with you through this next year. I hope you all have a wonderful, beautiful, blessed day. Bye, guys.
It won't always be blue skies ahead. Sometimes you might need a helping hand. Just like iron sharpens iron, making me stronger, calling me higher. When we come together, just like iron sharpens iron, making us stronger, calling us higher. When we're helping each other, we're growing together.